Rock Hard Caucus is a satirical entertainment program. Listener discretion is advised. Okay, we're here. Hi, this is Rock Hard Caucus. My name is Justin. I'm here with Evan tonight.
Hello.
And we've got something special to start off the program. The pandemic is not over. COVID's pretty much as bad as it ever was right now. Largely because, I guess, not enough people want to get vaccinated for whatever reason. They don't trust the vaccine that came to us from Pfizer, Moderna, Johnson & Johnson. What are they all? AstraZeneca, that's like the British one.
Mm-hmm. With the coolest name.
Yeah.
That we just bought like 1 million doses of and didn't distribute any of them.
Oh, we had those in the States, but they didn't let us have them?
They had a stockpile of like, I don't know how many, millions of doses, I think.
Wow.
And they started selling them to like other countries. Because no one wanted to take them here or in England because of like the blood clot thing.
Right. Those were like the radical ones that could like mutate you.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the blood clot issue.
Well, they all are.
Correct.
They can
yes.
all.
I forgot.
They can
You're
all
right.
mutate
I'm sorry.
You.
Yes.
I don't know who that was just talking, but we'll get to that in a minute. So people, for whatever reason, don't trust the vaccines, or maybe they just don't trust the medical community in general, or they don't trust the American healthcare system. Well, I can't blame them for that.
I can't really blame them for any of it, really.
Yeah,
not too much. Maybe a little bit.
Yeah, a little, but it's kind of a top-down problem, I think, for the most part. But anyway, there is a significant number of people here in this country who they believe that COVID is a problem, despite not being willing to take the vaccine. And so these people are turning to alternative methods of prevention or treatment of COVID. And we have one of those people here tonight who is seeking alternative prevention methods. This is somebody who was making the rounds last week. You may have seen a statement from this person. We have tonight Ivermectin user and what do I say? Ivermectin user and victim.
Yeah. Make sure to blur out her name on the audio spectrum.
Which they fucking didn't.
So, Natalie, we saw a screenshot of you asking some questions in a Facebook group dedicated to the use of ivermectin. Well, first of all, what is ivermectin, Natalie?
I don't even know.
You're doing a great job selling this.
It gets rid of parasites, in particular livestock. Humans do take it occasionally for certain types of parasites, but it's primarily a livestock medicine.
Yeah, I've seen photos of this product, and the
has
boxes.
A horse on it.
Yeah. When it's on the shelf, it's in a box with a picture of a horse on it. Yeah. So what do you think of the COVID-19 vaccines?
What I have seen and the science has shown is that it mutates your RNA. I know what that is, and I know what it does.
What is RNA also?
It's the same as DNA. It's the same shit,
And what is DNA also?
It's RNA with a D instead of an R.
I actually know what it is, but I can't say it in my horse-based persona.
Oh, I googled Dana by accident instead of DNA. Okay, DNA. That is what's the D stand for? Oh, that's all I want to know. deoxyribonucleic
acid.
There we go. Yeah. I've never had to say that.
Yeah.
And so RNA is that, but with an R at the beginning of it instead of a D. Reoxy.
I think it's ribo, right?
Yeah, that's what duplicates DNA. That's like, it makes copies, like churns out copies.
Okay, so is it you just cut off the deoxy and then it's RNA?
It's ribonucleic
acid. But the main thing is that it's acid, which is bad for you.
It's bad for you, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, and it also, causes magnetism in your blood, which is very toxic. It pulls out heavy metals and makes it so your skin becomes magnetic, and I'm just really concerned about that.
So are these heavy metals that are deeper inside of your body before you take the vaccine, and then they sort of bubble up to the surface?
Unclear. I haven't got that far.
Okay, right.
I just know there's metals. There's metals and there's dangerous.
I want to jump in here. Because they're heavy metals, they collect near your feet.
Yes. Yep. So I use reflexology to manage those things normally. But my body would be overwhelmed if I were to take the vaccine. So
yeah, there's a company called Vibes Up that sells feet, little like Dr. Scholl's pads. They'll solve the toxin problem. Yeah, they'll get your vibes up and solve your toxins problem.
Okay, yeah. So the heavy metals, they collect at the bottom of your body because of gravity.
Yeah.
So what I'm envisioning here is you take the vaccine and that sort of like shakes up your body's insides. It's like if somebody grabbed you and just like stirred you up or like put you in a blender. And so the heavy metals that were collected at the bottom are now more equally distributed throughout your body from top to bottom.
Yep, and they're just sucking things to it. And your skin becomes magnetized.
Got it. Okay. So now, do you know these things from experience? Are you yourself vaccinated and then these things happened to you?
Oh, of course not.
Okay. So you found out about this stuff thankfully you learned this before you were offered a vaccine or anything like that.
Oh, thank God. Yes. I learned this on Facebook.
Okay.
So luckily I have friends who do their research, and so they also haven't gotten the vaccine, and they have shared this information with me. So I turned to alternative methods.
Got it. And when you say friends, are these people that you have met?
No, they're not. But we're kindred spirits. Because we both like to do our own research.
So these are friends on the computer.
Yes, they live in the computer.
Yeah. And they're alive as opposed to dead. So that means you can trust them.
Yeah.
Well, if they've made it this far, they must know.
Exactly.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So Facebook is where you're getting your information, Natalie, and this is where you came to our attention and the world's attention, of course, in the... what was the name of the Ivermectin group that you belonged to?
Ivermectin MD team.
MD team. And MD, is that a medical doctor?
Yeah!
So, is this group where you learned of ivermectin, or did you hear about ivermectin and then you sought the group out?
I heard about it. I heard rumors of its medicinal bounty, and so I searched out the group so that I could, get some science information, share some, side effects or dosages, or a community of like-minded individuals.
Okay, and do you recall where you first became aware of ivermectin prior to joining this group?
People making fun of the other groups on Twitter.
Okay, and so you began learning about proper ivermectin dosage and ingestion methods, I guess. Do you know when you first began using ivermectin yourself?
Well, this was my first time, the time that I became famous. It was my first dosage of it. It's a weekly regimen. So, I did it for the first time. And so far it's going really well. Yeah.
Okay, and this was when your posts started, rising to the surface of internet popularity. This was, I believe, over a week ago now. So you have continued to take ivermectin since the incident that you described.
People are just sheep. They don't know. They laugh, but they don't know. Yeah.
Yeah. So that would mean you have taken your weekly regimen of ivermectin just 2 times so far?
Yep, 2 times. Yep.
Okay. And, well, let's stop dancing around it. What happened to you the first time you took your ivermectin dose?
Well, I was doing my shopping, right? It was FIJI, actually. I was at FIJI. I was, picking out my items. And I started to notice, things weren't feeling quite right, in my undercarriage. And, things were bubbling a little bit, feeling a little weird there. And then I went ahead and I shit myself in the grocery store. And, that's a little embarrassing. It's happened to all of us. It happened to the best of us, for sure. We all know that feeling.
Okay. Yeah.
But yeah. So I lost control of my bowels. But it wasn't a ton. It was just a little bit, like barely more than a sharp. People were really, really exaggerating. I think that got out of hand. And so I don't know. I kind of left it, and I was walking well enough that I was able to finish my shopping. I didn't know until I went to the ivermectin group that I probably had worms. And if I had known, I had maybe gone to wash my hands. Unfortunately, I'm concerned that maybe I spread them.
The worms.
But yeah, yep.
Oh.
Yep. So I really should have, maybe left the store, but hindsight is 2020.
Right. Well,
and,
speaking of spreading, are you at all concerned that you may be spreading the coronavirus?
Oh, no, absolutely not. Yeah,
okay.
And I may give you parasites, but I won't give you the coronavirus, and nobody's ever died from a parasite before. So,
it's true.
You heard it here.
I was not aware of that statistic.
I just want to jump in.
Yeah.
So, normally when you shit your pants, is the first thing you do is go post about it on the internet, or is that just a specific incident?
I was just going to a community of like-minded individuals trying to see if this was normal. Right. I was concerned that, like maybe some toxins were leaving my system. I know that happens. And so I wanted to be sure that it was normal, and others had that happen before. So I did go to what I felt was a private community to post about it. Mm-hmm. So it's a closed Facebook group, and I really didn't think that so many sheep would see it and laugh at it. I don't think it's very funny. It's a very serious thing. So, when I do shit my pants, yes, I usually go to Facebook groups to discuss it. But I always choose private groups. So I think it's pretty unfair, yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, people experience, medical incidents, in public, and not everyone knows, what to do. We're not all, trained professionals in the medical field. So sometimes you just have to, find like you said, a community online who can help you navigate what you are experiencing. I think this is a healthy way to look at the world, and a healthy place to seek advice.
Thank you.
What kind of advice did you receive when you shared this experience with the Ivermectin Facebook group?
Well, the thing I heard the most was that it was pretty likely that I did actually have worms. So, lots of people were posting that they hadn't had that happen to them. So that And then others were saying that probably means that I did have worms or parasites. But the good news... sorry to interrupt, but when you say worms, so I've seen worms, like out front of my house on the sidewalk after it rains. Are these the kind of worms that we are talking about here? Yeah, exactly like that. Yep.
Oh, wow. Okay, so those can live inside of a human body.
Yep, that's exactly correct.
That would be alarming if I saw those come out of me. Well, I guess, yeah. So you should probably be able to tell if you had them inside of you, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, it felt a little weird, more movement necessarily than you usually have when you shart yourself in public.
Right. Yeah. I mean, they call it a bowel movement, but not necessarily like wriggling, that kind of movement.
Yeah. Maybe the shit itself doesn't move so much. That it's usually describing your bowels moving, but in this case, both things were moving. Yep. But the consensus seemed to be that it was pretty likely that I had actual parasites, and that the best course of action is to stay the course. Luckily, I was already using a miraculous drug, an absolutely miraculous paste that could cure me of both my worms and COVID.
Yes.
And so, yep, luckily I was, the treatment is the cure. And I was advised to go ahead and take it with a fuckload of vitamin C. That was really my biggest problem. So, is that I wasn't taking enough vitamin C with it. And we also agreed that, I should maybe be taking less colloidal silver at the same time as my ivermectin. So I've learned I do my colloidal silver at night now. And then my paste weekly in the morning. And I found that, things went a lot better this week. I did stay home just in case to, handle any. And there was a little bit of leakage, but not nearly what it was last time. And it felt pretty worm free.
Okay. So it what happened to you the first time did happen again.
But not a lot.
Yeah.
Just, yeah. No,
right.
But it wasn't serious.
Yeah. Well, you said that about the first time too, though, that it wasn't a lot.
Yeah, but I just really want people to stop laughing at me about it, so I maybe did downplay it a little bit in the follow-ups.
All right. Okay.
So, but
got it. Okay.
But yeah, yep, I did go ahead and move around my colloidal silver usage. I bought a pair of Vibes Up flops to help me out.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think I found a regimen that works a little bit better for me. There were some commenters on my thread who did share my loose stool situation, so I wasn't completely alone.
Okay, this is happening to others.
Yes,
right.
It's happening to others, but the others in the group really believe that those people have worms as well. So
okay, so it's not it's not an ivermectin problem, it's a people problem. The problem is with you.
Yes. The problem is with the people, yes.
Yeah, you are the sick one. It's not the drug's fault.
No, it's a perfect drug. There's absolutely nothing wrong with it.
Okay.
It's my fault for, eating my pork tartare.
I was not aware you could prepare pork in that manner. Do you eat that often?
I
think we might have found a source of the worms.
I really like my meat pretty rare. So my chicken and my pork, I like to eat it, on the pink side. So.
Well, nothing wrong with that.
Nothing wrong with that.
I did have a couple of questions about a couple of things you mentioned before. You mentioned vitamin C. What does the C stand for? This was not a thing I was familiar with. Vitamin C. This is another kind of miracle drug, I guess.
Yeah, I just know it clears out all your toxins. Just clears out your toxins. Yeah.
Okay. So kind of vitamin clear, you could call it.
Perfect. Yeah, vitamin clear. Vitamin cleansing.
And you mentioned some kind of silver.
Yep. Colloidal silver. Yep. It's a liquid silver that treats everything. It has turned my skin a light, just a little tinge of blue. But I think it's really worth it for the benefits that I've seen in taking colloidal silver.
Yeah, and you'll be ready for when those Avatar sequels come out.
Yep.
Probably get a lot of attention. A lot more attention.
Yep. I've got a lot of attention on Reddit for my light blue skin and my scat issues. So that's been exciting. I have a new career as a shitting Navi. And, a number of men have offered to, for fun and profit. So things are going pretty well. It was a national laughingstock, but it has led to a beautiful shit-related career. So
yeah, I mean, time after time, every time you hear about just a regular Joe who suddenly gets attention from just millions of people on the internet, every single time it works out well in the end.
Yes, it's a happy ending always.
There may be an initial a period of discomfort as somebody who's used to talking to maybe 4 or 5 people in real life are suddenly just bombarded with half the world yelling at them. But once you get through a couple days of that, the offers of money and sex and fame, they all just start pouring in.
They start pouring in, absolutely. That's why people, seek out making themselves laughingstocks for attention. Women especially like to do this. And, so that they can profit off the notoriety for sure. Yep.
Well, I did want to ask one kind of like technical physical question. And the silver is what got me thinking about this. So it's a liquid form of silver. So I'm wondering, how do you take that? How do you ingest that? And then also the same question for the ivermectin. I've been told this is some kind of paste. So I'm wondering if you take that orally. Do you inject it? Do you rub the paste all over your skin, or how does this go?
Ass, all the way. I don't have any idea. How are they taking the paste? I mean, some people just were like eating it in their cars, but like, I don't know what the fuck they're doing with it. I don't know.
Yeah.
I have no idea, and I don't even know what like any of this is.
All right, so now that Natalie has officially fully broken character, we can talk
Friends,
about this.
Yeah, millions of people did in fact see me say that I shit myself in the grocery store after taking ivermectin paste. That unfortunately didn't actually happen. I know a lot of you are going to be disappointed. But luckily, attached to my real name and real photograph, millions of Americans believe that I took ivermectin and shit my pants. So I have the dubious honor of being the person who linked shit and ivermectin in the minds of Americans. And yeah, under my real first, last name and real picture. Many people were able to find me on Facebook and send me very insane messages, very deranged behavior. I don't know why, even if you thought it was true, you would go look someone up and send them a message asking if you really shit yourself. But people did. So, I was viral on every single website, and you know, I thought that was really cool. People I haven't spoken to in 10 or 15 years sending me Reddit posts and Imgur posts and Facebook screenshots. And it's just a really cool thing. So I love that for me. It was a really, really fun week. And I went through kind of a cycle of grief of it, of like, oh my God, like just being absolutely fucking mortified. And then like first thinking it was funny. And then like when it just got out of control, being like really like, oh my God, this sucks so bad. And now I think it's funny again.
Right. That you've reached a kind of zen where it's like clearly completely out of your hands now.
Totally. Yeah. At first I was like trying to get it taken down. And I didn't want to tell you guys this, but I was actually the one who messaged that original journalist and said, please take it down.
Yeah.
Yeah. When he tweeted like, unfortunately, or sad to report.
Yeah. Sad to report.
Sad
fucking
to report.
vulture.
Yeah. The girl pooping her pants is fake. I did. I sent that Eric guy a message and was like, please, this is me. It was a joke.
Yeah. Reporters just admitting that they just want to laugh at people who they think are dumber than them. Like,
I'm really sad
excellent.
that someone didn't shit them. You should be like, hell yeah, like a person isn't poisoning themselves.
Right.
But no, he's like, I'm really bummed because the tweet had like 18,000 likes or whatever.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was the reason that he did post that, is I'm the one who tipped him off that it was fake, but it was too late. And so then I was rolling with it.
Yeah. So if you've been listening to our show from the beginning, one of the like earliest things we talked about was like the danger of posting online and irony and trolling and all that.
Yeah.
And now, you know, just another installment in the series.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's really funny that you were trolling the people in that group and like maybe doing something kind of noble and trying to be like making them second guess whether they should be taking this shit. And then it like, just because you timed it so perfectly that it like just hit like mass media consciousness the very next day, that like it became a fucking troll on the media. And like, it was a pretty obvious joke. I mean,
It was
especially if they
obvious
read
joke.
further down in the comments, and especially if
Like
they
the
were like,
shit I
click
was
your
saying.
Facebook or like verify basically anything about you, which, like you said, is under your real name. Like,
Yeah.
Right. You can click on it. There's like video of me introducing Bernie. There's pictures of me in
Right.
masks. It's just like if you did literally any due diligence, but they really just wanted to laugh at these people. So it came into this like weird position where I'm like defensive of the people that I was mocking in the first place. Like,
yeah.
It completely turned me around too.
Yeah.
Because I like the reason I was there is to make fun of them. Like, yeah, like what the fuck is wrong with you guys? Like,
Yeah, there's like a knee jerk in the opposite direction where like, it was the same with like the hydroxychloroquine, where people are like, people are going to die. I mean, and some people, I think that they drink the chloroquine like aquarium cleaner, and obviously like taking huge amounts of ivermectin isn't fucking good for you.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like they're probably way more likely to die of COVID than they are to die of like ivermectin or whatever.
yeah,
So it's
and just like the most literally thousands of the most bloodthirsty comments towards me
Yeah.
of like, you know, I hope that you shit out your intestines and die. And
Yeah.
like, you know, I mean, the stuff was just like this. It's like natural selection. Glad we've got her out of the gene pool. You know, at least she won't harm her children anymore. Just like all this like horrible shit. And so I ended up turning around on it and being like, fuck you. The ivermectin people they believe in COVID. Like,
Right.
that's
Yeah,
why
they're at least
taking
seeking some kind of
ivermectin.
treatment. Yeah.
Yeah, they're like misguided, but it started out as like I was making fun of them, but I ended up hating the people who were making fun of them more than I hated them. Because like it's like, Jesus fucking Christ. I mean, it's just like they're being stupid, but I didn't know that we like had the death penalty for stupidity now.
Yeah.
Like wishing that someone would be poisoned to death because they're an idiot. Like It's crazy. And yeah, it's like fine to make fun of them, but it was just like a total pile on and like.
Well, and there's the smugness too, that like.
The smugness is what it is.
It's because I believe in science and I'm so much smarter than them that it's okay that I am laughing at their an imminent death. Yeah.
Well, and that's the thing too, is like there's a bunch of conflicting studies about the ivermectin shit. Like there are some studies that say it's good. I mean, I don't know how the quality. I mean, yeah, I'm not advocating for it. I'm just saying like there's people who are pro ivermectin who are quoting like actual published medical papers that say what they want to say, and I think it doesn't do anything. Like from what I've seen based on like the most recent peer-reviewed normalized studies or whatever.
I mean, as we've learned, there's data everywhere. And,
there's a lot of data, yeah. Data on both sides.
Yeah.
It's just like the most self-satisfied, like they believe that they are too smart to, and it comes from like this deep-seated insecurity and fear, I think, of like, you don't want to think that it could be you. So it feels better to like, mock people taking horse dewormers than to like be like, I have no real control over the situation. So it was just like the irony of being like literally thousands. Like I was name searching, obviously.
Yeah. Healthy
like,
behavior.
How could you not though? And it's just like literally thousands of people who are like, you are the stupidest, most gullible moron on the face of the earth. And I'm like, you literally fell for a heavy-handed joke. Like, it's a bit much. Like, you seriously think, like, my post had, like, 27 question marks in it. Like, it was obviously a joke. Like, you really think that someone shit themselves in public and then immediately posted on Facebook about it? Like, are you so stupid?
Well, yeah, I mean, that's not out of the realm of possibility, but it should at least make you think for a moment. Like, this might be a joke. Yeah.
But no one did.
They didn't even think twice.
No, the only people I saw were people who had seen, because I had like a semi-viral post that was like 5,000 something, who had seen that one of me saying like, look at this bullshit that's on the news. Like, how could they believe this? Ha ha ha. And it's like, I said on Facebook and on Twitter, this is fake, very publicly with my name attached. And like, people still weren't figuring it out.
Yeah, well, and yeah, we should mention that it wasn't just like random people messaging you. You did receive a Facebook message from a Vice reporter, right?
Yes, yep. Asking to interview me for a piece on ivermectin.
Well, I hope he's listening to this because we got the exclusive.
They did post an article that was like, does ivermectin actually cause you to shit yourself? And it apparently, was like, probably not. But you still probably shouldn't take it either.
Yeah, the article was like, everyone's seen like viral stuff going around about, ivermectin causing like hilarious side effects, but, that's not true. And it's like, you motherfuckers fell for it. Come on. Like, you only tempered yourself like after the like extremely embarrassing NBC stuff, like
right. Yeah. You were quoted by NBC News, and then they also redacted it.
Yeah, they printed a retraction at the end that said this was said in jest, so we have removed it.
Court jester Natalie.
Just the humanity's court jester for all of planet Earth to laugh at. And yeah, you got in early, so you are most likely the reason people associate shitting yourself with this miracle drug, ivermectin.
Yeah, I mean, it like causes you to get kind of nauseous, but I haven't really actually seen that as a side effect besides, famously me at the grocery store. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know, like, I thought it was funny as hell to say it happened at the grocery store, but I never thought that anyone would ever see it. Like,
it's too relatable. It had to catch on.
And at this point, ivermectin has really risen in popularity very famous people are treating themselves with ivermectin as of, was that yesterday that came out? Or
Joe Rogan is treating himself with ivermectin?
I think you mentioned average Joes earlier.
That's right.
He's an average Joe who happens to have millions of fucking listeners. And also didn't take the COVID vaccine, but then took like every fucking possible like potential hypothetical experimental treatment.
Yeah, he's doing all of the snake oil. And
that stuff's okay to put in your body.
Yeah,
all
famous thought leader and brother of Seth Rogen, Joe Rogan, is currently on ivermectin. So, I mean, I imagine if he shits himself in public, he would be open about that. He would probably tell his listeners what happened.
That's right. Straight shooter, that guy.
Real ones now.
May have some verification, because I don't think he's lying about taking it.
Oh, no. Not at all.
Definitely not.
Definitely is.
But while we're talking about COVID and healthcare and, whether people trust the vaccine or like whatever the reason is for not taking it, did you guys see the Des Moines Register editorial from, I believe, they released it yesterday, I guess, but about the vaccine? Did you read this?
No, I didn't.
It was about the insurance premiums going up for the lowly unvaccinated.
Yeah. So I wanted to read a little bit from this and just, from some of the smartest people in the state of Iowa, the Des Moines Register editorial board. So this is not just like a single person writing an opinion piece. This is their editorial board writing this. So they really, like, the paper fully believes in what they're saying here. They titled this editorial, "Roll Up Your Sleeve for a Vaccine or Pay Up More Money for Health Insurance." People who choose not to be vaccinated against COVID-19 are publicly sharing their stories about falling seriously ill. They have a lot to say in media interviews. Well, I guess we did something similar today.
Yeah.
They talk about getting sicker and sicker before landing in an emergency room. Then comes the ICU, lost time on ventilators, the fear of death, and complaints about lingering health problems. Some say they regret turning down shots. So a person who chose not to get the vaccine and now they are, at risk of death and they're in the hospital and they say they regret turning down the vaccine. Somebody who's found themselves in this place. How do you feel about them?
I mean, it always sucks when it happens to you. It's fine when it happens to other people, because those aren't real people to you.
Yeah. So this is what the Register says about them. Empathy for them is nearly impossible for many of us to muster.
Wait, seriously? They're just like, everyone is we're all sociopaths, obviously. Let's just start that right now.
What's the national vaccination rate? Have we even hit 50%?
It's like 60.
Yeah, we're above 50, but yeah.
Oh, I was thinking the Iowa rate is,
I think, 49%. It depends the area of the country.
Yeah, it's probably higher than that now, but yeah.
So, yeah, a decent chunk of the country, empathy for them is nearly impossible to muster. Vaccines have been widely available in this country for months. They're free. They're safe. They're very effective in preventing just severe as a given.
Disease. Like, we all know.
Yeah, this is something that all of those people agree with us on. They're recommended by every credible public health expert, and it's hard to feel sorry for people who are victimizing others. Obviously, I agree with that a little bit. That their refusal to get vaccinated is putting a lot of other people at risk. But I do want to just point out that they're recommended by every credible public health expert. As
determined by who?
Yeah, where did they get their credibility? I mean, who are we talking about specifically? Like, you didn't name names. Who are like well-known, credible public
CDC?
Health experts here in the United States?
Those fucking morons.
Fauci.
Everyone knows those famous doctors who we all love and trust here in America.
What has Dr. Oz said about it? That's what I want to know.
Yeah, he's the
That's a good question.
most watched medical expert, the most trusted name in medicine. The unvaccinated are contributing to the burnout of our critical healthcare workers. They're occupying hospital beds needed by patients suffering from strokes, heart attacks, accidents, and other emergencies. They may be contributing to the development of new virus variants, which could extend this nightmare pandemic, infecting children younger than 12 who cannot get vaccinated yet. So yeah, they're causing all these problems. That's true. Not getting vaccinated is making everything worse. So what's the solution, according to the Des Moines Register editorial board?
Punish them. No carrots, only sticks.
It also highlights the need to hold unvaccinated people accountable for the damage they're doing. They bear essentially no responsibility. That includes financial responsibility, and they're costing the rest of us a fortune.
Man, it's perverse.
We're talking about life and death here. And they're saying these people bear no responsibility.
Yeah,
they're
no
dying.
wonder people don't want fucking universal health care when it's all about like pitting against the worthy versus the unworthy.
Yeah.
It's feeding into the exact same right wing. I mean, like 100%.
Like this piece started out talking about them getting extremely sick and in the hospital and regretting their prior decisions. And you're saying here they're not being held accountable and they bear no responsibility. Like, no, they are experiencing consequences of their fuck ups. And you just also said that like their poor decisions are leading to a bunch of other problems in the healthcare industry and like getting kids sick and all this shit. But what you're really focusing on here is they're costing the rest of us a fortune.
Who
It's all about the
cares?
taxpayers.
Well,
Fuck
I would
this.
point out that Rob Sand tweeted this as well in agreement today.
Yeah.
Of like,
yeah.
you know, if you need another reason, like you're expensive. And it's like, this is, you know, a millimeter away from saying that, you know, fat people should pay more for healthcare or
Right.
like, you know, it's like, you know, I usually think slippery slopes are bullshit, but this is a very slippery slope.
Well, and this is one where we know that like the insurance companies would love to bring back like pre-existing conditions and all that shit.
And it's pushing the costs of a colossal governmental fuck up from the very highest levels from two different administrations. It's pushing all of the responsibility onto individuals once again.
Yeah.
And obviously, like, the issue is, like, the people that they're saying are credible. I mean, some people accept that, but the issue is that the people who aren't getting vaccinated don't think that you're credible. Like, no matter how many, like, this is not going to do anything to convince anyone. Because, again, the problem is with the credibility of media outlets like the Des Moines Register.
How is anyone
working
supposed
on eroding for
like, how is anyone supposed to believe these institutions are credible? I don't think the CDC is credible at this point. I mean, they told us to take off our masks 4 months ago. Like,
yeah. Yep. Who's fucking throwing all the kids back in school? Is it all just Republican governors making that decision?
No, it's not. Like,
no.
The credibility is damaged by the people in power, not like you're just like saying it like it's some kind of immutable fact about these institutions. And it's like, no, they don't find it to be. Those unvaccinated people aren't like considering, you know, this is a credible source, but they don't see it to be credible. And it's because it low-key isn't.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's another really annoying thing is people are like looking at like California or like bigger, you know, blue states as like, oh, they handled COVID the right way. It's like, get the fuck out of here. Are you fucking kidding me? Like California, like, outsourced like all of the fucking COVID stuff to like health insurance companies. Like they fucking took all of the governmental responsibility that they had and just gave it to a bunch of fucking healthcare companies with predictable results, you know.
And New York killed your Nana and lied about it.
And lied about it. It was a fucking disaster from the top down. And that's another thing is like this shit about like punishing people for not taking the vaccine. Like that can only really exist in a like situation like we're in here where the government doesn't have any fucking plan for like, they don't have any sort of centralized vaccine rollout. Like there's no federal plan for distributing vaccines. It's all just fucking patchwork the way it has been for the entire fucking pandemic.
Yeah.
And just like inherently linking, you know, money and healthcare is driving a framework that prevents like universal free healthcare, because like as long as you're like referring to, you know, the cost as being the outcome being like cost reduction, then it just like further fuels this. It's like, who, like, the money's fake. Who the fuck cares how much it's costing us? Like, shut the fuck up. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fucking shit how much it's costing us. Pay it. I want to keep these people alive. Like, this is fake. You can't scare us anymore with this. Like, fuck off. I don't care how much it costs. Like, that's not the problem I have. The problem is getting our kids sick and stuff. Mm-hmm. It's like, I don't give a fuck. Like, stop making us believe, like, stop making us give a shit about healthcare costs. Like, I don't care.
Yeah.
I just don't care. Social Security is fine. Healthcare costs are fake. Stop it. Like,
yeah, they absolutely are fake. Yeah, I mean, the healthcare costs are specifically incredibly high because of the fucking horrible system that we have.
Yeah, they're only high.
I mean, everyone knows.
Yeah.
We don't have any fucking price controls.
So the Register editorial board praises Delta Airlines for now charging their employees $200 more in their monthly healthcare premiums if they have not gotten vaccinated. So yeah, Delta Airlines, the employer, is now gouging their own employees. And this is praised by the paper of record in Iowa.
Good to us at the Des Moines Register.
Mm-hmm.
And they're complaining about, it costs us a bunch of money if someone has to go to the emergency room. And again, this would be 100% solved by having a fucking socialized Medicare system.
Right. That's not the natural state of things. It's not like when you walk into an emergency room, there's some like just number that goes up in heaven, and
it's like it's a law of gravity that you must pay $100,000 when you go to an emergency room.
It's dictated to us by the
gods.
Yeah, God tells us this is what it costs to use the emergency room, and we must obey. No, we constructed all this bullshit, and it's human decisions that make it cost that much. One of the things they bring out to defend this idea of charging unvaccinated people more for their health insurance is smoke cigarettes and you face higher premiums in Obamacare health insurance plans.
Yeah, and you shouldn't with that either.
just a settled thing that we all agreed to and like. You know who smoked cigarettes for years? The guy that Obamacare is named after. Like, what a prick.
Yeah, it's like one of the most addictive substances on the fucking planet.
Yeah, cigarettes cause health problems, which means people who smoke them are going to need more health care, and that's the fault of them for choosing to smoke cigarettes. It's not the fault of a giant industry that needed to maintain its profits and so pushed its product to more and more people as time went on and was vastly just accepted that like everybody smoked until 40 years ago, 30 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
It was just a part of life. The charge should probably be much higher than $200 because
do not say that.
They do. The average cost of hospitalization for an unvaccinated employee who falls ill from COVID is $50,000. They're just referring to these people as employees now.
And not human beings.
Yeah, I mean, they're in the hospital, and we're still just thinking about them as a Delta employee, not as a patient in the hospital. Their entire identity is now employee. Well, I mean, that's who they pay for their health care, so I guess that is, the reason they're alive is their employment with Delta. So that's how we should think about them 24 hours a day. Evan, you'll like this after one of the references you made earlier. Americans have watched as carrot after carrot has been dangled in an effort to convince people to be vaccinated.
Excuse me? Which ones?
Which carrots?
Some lotteries? Like
That's one. They list
$10 gift card
at Hy-Vee.
Are you fucking kidding me?
They list 4 different carrots. So there's the lottery.
Yeah.
I know like Ohio did that. That was like a few states did lotteries.
Yeah, Polk County has one.
Oh, okay, cool, yeah.
Yeah.
A free donut.
No, it doesn't.
I think Krispy Kreme was doing that, right?
No, it doesn't. Please don't tell me it says that.
Does it really say, yeah? Because, like, Shouldn't we be increasing the healthcare costs of people who eat donuts? Come on, man.
No, it does not list a donut.
It does?
Carrot after carrot after carrot.
Donuts are carrots. This is according to the Des Moines Register editorial board.
Carrot cake. How about that? It's delicious.
I know that a single donut is, equal to the incentive of $2,400 more a year in healthcare costs. Like, that's a pretty big stick compared to a pretty small carrot.
Yeah, no kidding. Tickets to the state fair. That's another carrot they list.
Okay. $14 at Gates.
Right. Yeah, another just giant carrot for us. Also, folks, watch our short film, Our Day at the Fair, by Evan and Justin from Rock Hard Caucus. And then the fourth carrot they list is a bonus at work.
I didn't get a fucking bonus at work. That is a good one. I didn't get that. Did you guys get that?
Nope. And I got my vaccine through my employer, so they know I'm vaccinated. Where's my fucking carrot?
Where's my carrot? It's
we want carrots.
Even if these things were, none of these things are widespread, because I might agree with them a little more if there was a national lottery or a mandated bonus from all employers. Mm-hmm. Or it's not a carrot if 3 people get it.
Yeah, there's so many more hungry bunnies out there. And then this is the final sentence. What we need now are more sticks, including those that hit the willfully ignorant in their pocketbooks.
Oh my God.
A demand for more sticks. We need to beat the American people until they obey.
Who is this for?
I can tell you who it's by. This editorial is the opinion of the Des Moines Register's editorial board. Carol Hunter, executive director. Lucas Grunmeyer, opinion editor. Andy Dominic, editorial writer. And Richard Doak and Rox Laird, editorial board members. So, Carol, Lucas, Andy, Richard, Rox. More sticks. Yeah, Rox is a cool first name. Maybe short for Roxanne? I don't know.
Oh, okay.
Yes, these fine Iowans are demanding bigger sticks to hit all of our little naughty behinds.
We've so
had enough carrots.
It's so frustrating because it makes you defensive of the people who are attempting to kill my child.
Right, yeah.
I'm defensive of anti-maskers, unvaccinated people who are the ones who are sending their little plague time bombs into endanger my kid. But I hate these media people so much. I hate this so fucking much that I'm defensive of them. How dare you do this to them?
Much like your Ivermectin experience.
Much like the Ivermectin thing, where I was defensive of all the morons in that group. You don't deserve to be publicly, I didn't care because I didn't actually shit my pants, but imagine if I had. And it's
Yeah, I mean, these people down at our level, they are making the situation worse. A lot of them are really horrible people. Just willfully making the pandemic worse, not caring if they're hurting unvaccinated children and whatnot. Yeah. But the problem goes back further and up higher than them. It's a top-down problem.
Yeah.
This country's fucked.
Like the result of decades of removing any power for the government to do anything in favor of private companies. It's almost like this is a logical result of pursuing those policies.
Yeah, and now the only people that can save us are companies like Delta Airlines.
Right. Yeah, the government isn't going to do Delta. Shit. I mean, the only people who actually want to govern are Republicans. Sad to say.
Yeah, we'll get a hell of a lot of sticks out of them.
Yeah. God damn it. Fuck.
God, imagine believing this. Imagine believing that anyone gets any carrot ever in America. I get no carrots. Everywhere I looked, none. Not even donuts.
I'm just digging holes at random, hoping there's carrots down there.
No carrots here.
All right. Well, I did want to talk a little bit about what's been going on in Iowa City to end the show. We'll probably talk a little bit about sexual assault as we discuss this. So if you're listening and that's something that you do not want to hear, there's no shame in skipping the rest of this episode, and we'll talk to you next time. So I'm pulling this from itsgoingdown.org, which is like a activist website. Somebody wrote up a little bit about the situation here in Iowa City. There's been some protests that I've been attending because, as It's Going Down describes it, thousands take to streets and attack frat house at center of brutal sexual assault. So they quote here from a change.org petition that has received over 100,000 signatures on it, which is more than the population of Iowa City. So a lot of people are paying attention to this. On the night of September 5th, 2020, so you'll note that that is nearly a year ago, a freshman girl went to hang out with her friends at the University of Iowa FIJI house. So that is, FIJI is like a nickname for this fraternity. I forget whatever. Phi Gamma Delta. That's the Greek bullshit name for them. But FIJI is what they're called. This freshman girl was drugged, raped, videotaped, and photographed, and left with no memory of what had happened to her. Jacob Malone and Carson Steffen are the perpetrators here. They planned out what they did to this girl, and not only did they plan this out, but they also sent the videos they had taken to their entire FIJI group chat, and none of the other members of this fraternity said anything to, stop them or tell them not to do it. I don't know. All of their members saw what they did to this girl, and the FIJI members just told them to delete their proof. These boys are still allowed on campus, and they even showed up in the same class as the girl that they had assaulted. Iowa City detectives have messages of them planning to do this to her. They have their DNA, they have the videos and the photos. Almost 1 year of struggling to get this case to court. The Iowa City judge told the victim that this case will not be taken to court, despite more than enough evidence. Since the courts won't give her justice, we need to do it ourselves. University of Nebraska isn't the only FIJI house doing this. Shut FIJI down nationwide. Yeah, so if you're not aware, something very similar happened at the University of Nebraska in Lincoln with the same fraternity. And there were some protests there as well. But the other night, I believe this was Tuesday night, I went out to see what was going on. And the estimates I've seen have about 2,000 people surrounding this frat house. And, well, I didn't see anything, but some stuff got broken. I'll say that. And this is very cool. This article from It's Going Down embeds some tweets from my friend Oliver. So he's been getting some new followers. I'll read how they describe it here. Chants of cowards and fuck FIJI were heard from across town. Some people began to bang on windows, knock on the doors to the frat, and eventually someone threw a rock through a window. This sparked an outright onslaught on the multi-million-dollar frat house. Tags of rapists decorated the house. Chairs and other furniture went through windows, glass, and other debris littered the huge lawn. Eventually, it was revealed that the house was now empty as the fraternity members had fled out the back and were now hiding in one of their satellite houses across town. The crowd of now over 2,000 people promptly made its way across the river and showed up in even more force at the frat's other location. This house, if I recall, this was at 713 Iowa Avenue. This house quickly saw the same redecoration as the other, as rocks, branches, and skateboards went through windows. And again, I didn't see shit, but 2 cars parked behind the frat were smashed up and flipped completely upside down.
It's the things cars do when they're very distressed.
Yeah, there were just too many people there, and they got nervous.
They got stressed out and flipped themselves over.
Defensive position.
Yep.
This house was also empty. Upon this realization, many protesters ran through the house, finding and destroying many FIJI-labeled items. Beers were liberated from the house's fridge and coolers and distributed among the protesters.
I didn't see that. That's really cool.
I will admit I did see some of those beers going around.
As long as they were unopened.
I don't know who it was, but yeah, that stuff did exit the premises. And I love how they describe this here. Responding to the scene were a timid Iowa City Police Department who could do nothing but watch from 2 blocks away, attempting to scare the crowd away with sirens and lights. After the house was thoroughly ransacked for over an hour, many people began to leave the scene and return to their homes. Eventually, the crowd thinned enough for the police to move in and secure the house. No arrests were made. And I think that trend has held true so far. I haven't seen any arrests based on these protests. The cops have been shockingly hands-off, and I suppose that's because this is a protest not specifically aimed at them, and it's a much wider crowd. But this is still going on. There's another protest tonight that I'm heading to as soon as we're done recording here. And it's been making me think about what is the purpose of college fraternities? Why do these organizations exist?
We were talking about it in the group chat, but like I have such a distinct memory of like I vividly remember every second of the Kavanaugh hearings. Mm-hmm. And just like the way that like sexual violence exists within these like institutions as a way to like provide this like horrible fucked up glue between the men within it of like, you know, if everyone has seen one another fuck, you know, drugged girls, then no one can ever like narc out on anything. Like you're bonded together for life because everyone has seen everyone else do these like depraved sexual things.
Yeah. And it seems like it's definitely like a culture thing. I mean, obviously with frats in general, but I was reading about the Lincoln, Nebraska incident, and they've had 78 rape accusations since 2015 at that specific frat house.
Jesus.
Which is like fucking insane.
Yeah.
And the actual incident that happened there is like horrific. Like I won't go into details, but the kid, his like family like fled him to Mexico. Like he's in Mexico now trying to fucking avoid any accountability for it, which is like fucking nuts.
It was a minor, right?
Yes, it was like a 17-year-old girl.
It was a 17-year-old girl.
I believe Max Helm is the name of the Nebraska guy who did that.
And obviously they have a fucking reputation in Iowa City of 1,000 fucking people come.
2,000 by these estimates. And I'd say that's accurate. I mean, I've been to my share of large gatherings of pissed off people in Iowa City, and this one was big. Like I could not see the end of the crowd either way. And I mean, I imagine this is a problem. Well, you know, it's a widespread problem like everywhere that sexual assault is rampant. But I imagine it's a particular issue in most, if not all, college towns. It's
Absolutely.
Really bad in Iowa City. I mean, this is not a new problem, obviously, here.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And obviously, I don't know if there's any examples of like college administrations who handled any of these situations like appropriately.
Yeah, no.
But on the whole, it's been a fucking shit show. They don't do anything. There's like no consequences for any of the people who were called out.
Yeah. Last time I was a student was when Sally Mason was the president at the University of Iowa, and she was in hot water all the time because she didn't take this shit seriously enough. I don't recall specific incidents really while Bruce Harold was running the show, but he was an incompetent dipshit the whole time. So I don't know.
Fuck him.
Yeah, and Barbara Wilson, our new president, seems to be, you know, not bucking the trend. Everyone is really mad in Iowa City, which is good. It's good that they're mad. I haven't ever really seen like a massive protest organized around this issue. This does seem like a positive trend.
It's extremely cool.
Yeah, now if we can get them to come out to more shit.
It's extremely cool, and it has resonated nationally. It's really cool. It gets me really like fucked up. Like having been, you know, I remember being like a little teenage girl on the University of Iowa college campus, and like it's bad. Like it's bad. It's like very, like, even to the people who never have something like that, like happened to that girl happen, it's like you don't come out of it unscathed. Like, it's sick. It's absolutely sick what people get away with. And like, I just think a lot and get really sad for myself, like and like all my friends, like as a little teenage girl. And like, I think about like what this would have meant to me at the time when I was 18, 19 in Iowa City, if I could have been with like 2,000 other students tearing a frat house apart and like what that would have done for my mental health at the time, you know, like, because it's like really sick. Like, it's sick, the shit that happens to girls at college. Like, it's fucking sick. And like, I left because I dropped out and I left just like wrecked, just like so ill. Like, it's not like I ever had something like that happen to me, but it's just like, you're a victim of this like very low level, constant sexual violence, basically.
Even when it's not happening to you or like right in front of you, like there's just like an environment here where like, it's happening pretty frequently and it could happen to someone you're close to. Like, both my sisters went to, my youngest sister's still in college here, but yeah, both my sisters have lived on this campus, and it's like, this shit can happen to anybody at any time, basically. That's how bad it is.
Yeah, I briefly attended Wartburg College, which I sincerely regret, but that was only a couple years, and we didn't have any frats there that I know of, but absolutely, I know of incidents that were reported to administrators that did not end up with any sort of action being taken, and yeah, it's absolutely like endemic on college campuses. It's really fucked up.
Yeah.
It's just like this, like brazen, the way these boys treat you. I've just felt like I've had lots of bad things happen to me. Like, it's not like this, but it's just like, I don't know anyone, and certainly not at the time, who wasn't at least groped. Like, that's the smallest thing I can think of, where it's just like, this is just expected. And like, you just believe that if you are going to be a girl here and you are going to go to parties, that's part of the deal. That's the attitude is like, that's part of the deal. You better get some girlfriends, It's like,
if you're drinking at all. Then
if you were in Iowa City and you're drinking, then that counts as like free for all.
Fair game.
Yeah.
Yep. And I just know these like piece of shit boys that, like, not even frat guys, just like the entitlement is insane. And like, I don't know. It's so bad, and it's bad everywhere, but it's just like, this really, really means something to people. Like, it's really cool to see. I'm glad you were there, Justin.
Yeah. And I'm going again tonight. Like I said, it's when you have 2,000 people together and a lot of them are really, really mad, some cool shit can happen. And I would like to see more of that, because every time I see that, something cool happens. It's community building, kind of. Like,
yeah, absolutely.
I feel a lot closer to a lot more people that live around here because of these kind of wild nights that have been happening the past couple of years.
Well, it's like so validating and so healing.
Yeah.
Like, for people to be pissed for you and like to validate that this was bad. And like, because like with stuff like sexual assault, it like leaves girls like questioning, like, no one else is treating this like it's bad, so why do I feel so bad? And it's like that disconnect really makes girls get very, very mentally ill. It's like, I don't know. And so like, to be in a huge group of people who are all like, no, this is bad and we're mad. You know what I mean? It's like just that like validation, because a lot of times it just feels like the entire world is gaslighting you. Like, why do I feel so bad about this? And everyone's saying it's fine. And like, if you can expose that, like, look at how many other people feel like it's not.
Yep. And that's quite literally what was happening here. It's like, there's a mountain of evidence of what Jacob Malone and Carson Steffen did to this young woman. And yet the people in positions of authority who can do something about it, it's been a year and they haven't done shit. I mean, they're never going to do anything, is what it looks like. So what other option is there than to collectively recognize that the people who can do something about this from their positions of power do not care about you. To realize that together and to gather a bunch of people together and decide like, well, we're going to do something about it. Like, you know, maybe we're not going to solve the problem tonight, but we're going to fucking do something. And then 2 cars end up upside down somehow. This is what we have to do about everything.
Yeah, I've seen some of the stuff on social media where it's already seems like there's some disagreement between certain organizers regarding the scope of protesting.
There is, but that's always there, and it's like a growing pains, you know?
Right, but I mean, like your point that it's about, you know, this is obviously a part of a systemic fucking issue.
Yeah.
That needs to go further.
It is extremely important that you recognize if someone talks to you about nonviolent protests, they're scamming you and you can never talk to them again and it's fine. This is a scam. It's a lie. Voting is fake and peaceful protest is fake. Civil disobedience is, you know.
Yeah.
I wouldn't go that far, but if they're trying to push you away from doing anything else by saying, oh, you need to be peaceful, then that's...
Yep, I'm being hyperbolic, obviously. But it's like... You know, if you respond to the most brutal violence possible with walking quietly with signs, like, is that really peaceful?
Yeah, I saw on the the Lincoln campus that there was some group that was like marching with like cop escorts and stuff, and like, it was obviously got a lot of pushback from the community about that. Obviously, the cops aren't going to do shit about this. I mean, they haven't done shit about this either.
Yeah,
so,
I mean, if they were going to, they would have.
Cops.
Yeah. I personally endorse all acts of property damage in the pursuit of, what are we pursuing here? Changing our existence for the better. If some shit gets broken, it really doesn't matter. Especially if this is shit that belongs to a rapist fraternity. Break their shit. Who cares? Do it.
Yeah. Again, it's condoned by the entire fucking organization. They fucking videotaped it and sent it to fucking everyone in the fucking house.
Yeah, and everyone said, you better delete the proof. That was their response. So fuck them.
Totally, fuck them. And also, property damage is not violence. Shut the fuck up. Humans getting hurt is violence. That's not violence.
Yeah.
Stop it.
You can always buy new shit.
You can buy new shit. That doesn't count. Violence is when people got hurt, and no people got hurt, so...
Yeah, no, nobody...
All I see is some cool combusting windows, that's all.
Nobody's been injured at all that I'm aware of. So, good track record so far. So I guess we can end with a word of encouragement to everybody who wants to go out and join a large group of angry people. I say do it. I'll be out there in Iowa City. I'll give you a high five if you come up to me. At any protest ever, I'll give you a high five at any time.
Hell yeah.
You can find him because he looks like Wolverine.
People are going to travel to Iowa City now.
If that's what gets people out, hey, high fives all around. And I think that's all we really need to say tonight, other than one personal request that is much more frivolous than what we were just talking about. Everybody listening to this, please vote for us in the Little Village poll for Best Local Podcast. Thanks.
Please make them print the word rock hard cock in the paper.
Yeah.
Please.
When are the results for that? It seems like it's been like a month since we posted about it.
I think the voting goes all the way till the end of September.
Oh, damn. Okay.
Yeah, so it'll be a while.
All right, well, more time to scheme on how to stuff the ballot box.
Yeah, more time to switch your browser location using a VPN to different servers all around the world.
We need a VPN sponsorship.
It's supposed to be local, not worldwide.
Oh, yeah.
Well, it's more time for people around the world to use their VPN to pretend they're in Iowa City.
Yeah.
That's what we'll do. Okay.
Yeah, we discussed this in the last one. They're probably not logging IP addresses. It's probably fine. It's Little Village. I mean, it is a little village after all.
Yeah. All right. Well, that was a heavy way to end the episode. Anything else that we need to talk about?
There's a lot of other really bad shit that is happening that we didn't mention, but we are also concerned about that. So
yeah, I mean, we're on the heels of the abortion stuff.
Yeah.
And Stella and I are really trying about the third one. It's just really, it's a lot for our mental health, both of us, now, to record another couple hours about abortion. So it'll be out. It will be. But it's just a lot. It's pretty overwhelming.
Well, yeah, some shit kind of happened recently that may make that more difficult to get done.
So, yeah, we had planned to record yesterday. So it was a little much for us. We will be recording soon.
Yep, and that will be at patreon.com/rockhardcaucus if you want to hear it eventually. And that'll do it. Thanks, Evan. Thanks, Natalie. Nice talking with you.
Same to you, and don't eat any ivermectin.
Oh, I was actually
or do.
I was drinking some the whole time we were
recording.
Oh,
right, I saw. Yeah, you were playing a video game and drinking a whole can of it.
Yeah, I had another can tonight. I've got plenty in the fridge.
All right, disregard what I said.
All right, thanks for listening, everybody. Good night.
A horse is a horse, of course, and no one can talk to a horse, of course. That is, of course, unless the horse is the famous Mr. A. Go right to the source and ask the horse. He'll give you the answer that you endorse. He's always on a steady course. Talk to Mr. A. People yakety yak a streak and waste your time a day. But Mr. Ed will never speak unless he has something to say. A horse is a horse, of course, and this one will talk to him. His voice is hoarse. You never heard of a talking horse? Well, listen to this. I am Mr. Ed.
This has been a Filmways television presentation.